911, where is your
Hello?
emergency?
Hello?
Hello, 911.
Hi, I need someone to come to my house immediately.
Okay, what's going on over there?
Well, my sister's been missing for 4 or 5 days, her and her boyfriend, and we just found 2 bags in the shed, and there's flies all, I think they're in the shed in a bag, okay, and I'm just scared to open it.
Officers from the Clinton Township Police Department were quickly dispatched to the scene, a quiet neighborhood less than a mile from the station. Police were the first to arrive, stepping into an unsecured scene with countless unknowns. They had no idea who they might encounter, whether a suspect was still present or if a body was hidden nearby. It was the kind of call most officers rarely, if ever, receive in their entire careers. Nothing could have prepared them for what they were about to witness.
Sir.
Hi.
Hi.
So what's going on here?
So, my sister, his daughter, has been missing for 5 days now.
Okay.
I did a walk around the house to check if there's any trails or anything suspicious. I've seen a boatload of flies behind the shed. And when I pulled things out, we have these
It
bags
smells like death in there.
filled with flies, and they don't look good.
I can't even open it.
What makes you think that she's there? What makes you think something happened to her?
Don't make me think she's there. Don't tell me she's there. I can't even.
Officers soon learned the names of the missing couple, Danielle Marza and Seren Brian.
So let's just see what we got first. And yeah, I mean, we don't even know what we have. That doesn't look normal.
Let's grab a mask.
With that knowledge weighing heavily, they prepared to enter the shed.
And let's do this. You want to do booties?
Yes. Just in case. I got seniority. I'll do like.
As officers approached, they noticed a garbage bag on the ground directly ahead, partially torn open. Inside, they immediately saw someone wearing a black t-shirt. Moments later, a glimpse of exposed skin on the left thigh confirmed the presence of a human body.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to talk. We're confirmed.
It was immediately confirmed a body had been found. What remained unclear was whether there was another victim or if a possible assailant could still be inside the house. With caution and urgency, officers prepared to make entry. Officers moved quickly to clear the home, ensuring no potential suspect was hiding inside. They split off to the left and began a methodical search, room by room, checking every corner, leaving nothing to chance. The tension was at its peak. Clearing a house is no simple task, every step filled with uncertainty. Officers moved through each room with extreme caution, opening closet doors, weapons drawn, lights cutting through the darkness. Every shadow was checked. Every space was cleared. They had to be certain no one was hiding, waiting to do harm. Back outside, the homicide investigation was officially underway.
Tape.
Yeah, I got tape right here.
I'll tie it here, and then we'll get the front. Sound good?
Yeah. Okay. Here, give it a play. Go
Yeah,
present.
you got a doozy here today.
It's right here.
Having to open that second bag, yeah. So we don't know, and it looks that each bag looks like it would be one body.
Seren didn't have any known enemies. He was even-tempered, not the kind of person to lose control easily. Like anyone, he had his limits, but he generally kept a calm demeanor. In Clinton Township, he only knew Danielle, her family, and a small group connected to her. He kept their relationship mostly private. They had met at a bonfire, an ordinary beginning to what seemed like a quiet connection. Though he had mentioned meeting someone new, he never shared many details. What was clear to those around him, he really liked her.
Look at a little fatty. She just woke up to get Chinese food.
Seren was new to relationships, and at 19 had fallen into a deep, all-consuming love. To him, Danielle was everything. On the other hand, Danielle was unique, creative, open, and unafraid to stand up for what she believed in, even if it upset others. She wasn't known to have any enemies, though it was possible someone disagreed with something she stood for. Still, nothing seemed serious enough to ever justify someone wanting to hurt her. Back at the scene, investigators closely examined the remains. Both bodies were carefully removed from the bags, revealing that their hands and feet had been tightly bound with duct tape. The discovery painted a chilling picture of what had taken place. Investigators also noted clear signs of asphyxiation. Duct tape had been placed over their mouths or noses, and plastic bags were put over their heads, secured tightly around the neck with more duct tape. Inside one of the bags, investigators discovered several blood-stained items, including a small mallet, possibly the murder weapon. They also found duct tape with traces of blood and bed sheets soaked in it, further pointing to the violence that had occurred. With 18 years of experience at the Clinton Township Police Department, this case stood out as one of the most disturbing the officer had ever encountered, unlike anything seen before. Outside, investigators began speaking with friends and family members, starting with a co-worker who knew both Danielle and Seren through their job.
She just ran away.
How old is she?
18. Her and her boyfriend, Seren, who's 19, are both missing. They both work with me. I dropped them off after work on Thursday morning. They've been missing since Thursday at 8 a.m. That's when I dropped them off. That's the last time they were
Where'd
seen.
you drop them off?
Here, at their house, after work.
That was the last time you saw them?
That's the last time anyone saw them.
The friend explained that she had come to the house that morning to help search for Danielle and Seren, concerned after not hearing from them. Danielle's work friend had been at the house earlier, trying to help locate her. She had been there with Danielle's father, Robert, as they searched the property. Their attention eventually turned to the shed.
Looking for the key. We couldn't find the key. One of the keys is missing.
She mentioned that Robert couldn't find or didn't have a key to the shed. It wasn't until later that they called Robert's son, Kevin, to bring a key over to the house.
There was a bag covered in flies. It smelled like death. And I figured out what was in it. So her dad and brother cut it open and pulled the plastic apart, and then both screamed, freaked out, and ran from the shed.
Later that night, investigators sat down with Danielle's father, Robert Sr., hoping to gather more details about the hours leading up to the discovery. During the conversation with Robert, his behavior seemed noticeably strange. Investigators allowed him to speak freely, carefully observing his demeanor and capturing the interaction on camera. At that point, it was unclear how much he was involved or what he knew. Despite claiming he lived at the home, Robert insisted he had no knowledge of anyone being inside the shed where the remains had been found.
Shed, locked, right?
Yeah.
You and Kevin went in, right?
Yep.
Whose key do you use?
Mine.
At this stage of the investigation, one thing was clear: the shed hadn't been broken into. Someone had used a key to access it. Inside were two bodies stuffed in bags, raising even more questions. Conflicting stories began to emerge about whose key had been used, leaving investigators to sort through the details, trying to determine who was telling the truth and who wasn't. Detectives requested both Danielle Marza's father, Robert Sr., and her brother Kevin to come to the station for questioning, hoping to clarify timelines and gather more information about the events leading up to the discovery. Kevin cooperated fully, agreeing to come to the police station, where detectives conducted a formal interview to gather more insight into the case.
What's your name?
Kevin.
Kevin, Joe Burns. I'm a detective here. Hey,
Can't quit.
how's Seren's relationship been with Danielle? I mean, they get along?
I mean, from what I was told from her friends,
Okay.
that her boyfriend would never hurt her. So I figured if, she got hurt, he was with her,
So, just so I can get this straight in my head, because I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
Living there at that time, so within the last week, I had you living there? Your dad?
Yeah.
Seren?
Yeah.
Danielle? Was there anybody else?
My brother.
Okay, and what's your brother's name?
Robert.
Okay.
Detectives were somewhat surprised to learn about another brother's information that hadn't come up until that point in the investigation.
I tried on Facebook Messenger.
Okay. But you didn't try
And, well, the thing is, I could tell, he caught, drift of what's going on, and he pretty much said he's shutting his phone off. I gotta go charge my phone, and then he never came back online.
Right.
So I didn't bother trying to call, trying to text. If he's not coming back online, he's obviously knows what's going on at that point.
At that point in the investigation, there were still many questions surrounding Robert Jr. His name hadn't been mentioned earlier, leaving detectives uncertain: was he a potential suspect, someone simply not involved, or just overlooked? His absence from the initial accounts raised serious curiosity and concern. Detectives then shifted their focus and began asking Kevin questions about his father, Robert Sr.
Well, he's a drunk,
Okay.
you know, and we lost my mom in 2011, and he's never really been the same, you know. 3 kids, we've been on our own pretty much since, you know.
What does he do?
He paints.
Okay.
Yep.
So has he been painting at all?
Yep.
Okay. So he's been going out to work, but you said he's drinking quite a bit?
Yep.
Kevin explained that when Robert Sr. drank, his behavior could change, sometimes becoming angry and prone to yelling. It raised concerns as alcohol seemed to bring out a different side of him. This shift in personality made detectives increasingly suspicious, prompting the next step, interviewing Robert Sr. to uncover more.
Worry about her. And now, the end is near. And so I face the final curtain.
For you?
Yeah.
Why for you?
Because if that's her in my shed, I'm done, son. I'm done.
At that point, detectives were trying to determine whether Robert Sr. was simply an odd character or if he was actively hiding something. The shed showed no signs of forced entry. Someone had clearly used a key. During questioning, Robert Sr. eventually admitted the key used wasn't his, it belonged to Kevin.
And you don't remember whose key you used to get in there?
You know what? My key wasn't on the shelf.
Right.
I remember that.
Now you
What it
remember.
always is.
Now you remembered after I told you that.
What?
Because the whole day you were telling me that it was your key you were using.
Because that's what I always use. All right?
And when I told you that.
Listen, no, well, believe me, I've been slept in days.
Okay, well, I get
Listen,
that.
listen. I remember it because I went up on the shelf where I have the house keys and it wasn't there. So I said, my key's not there. And I checked my pockets, you know, because sometimes I have it. No, it wasn't there. Because we had to break the damn lock to get in.
Right.
He couldn't provide a clear explanation for why he had initially claimed the key was his. Whether it was due to intoxication or an attempt to mislead, investigators were still trying to determine the truth behind his conflicting statements. Detectives then shifted their focus to Robert Jr.
Where is Robert staying at right now?
I have no clue.
You said Robert was with you when you went to work on Thursday?
Yeah.
Did he pick you up, or did you go pick him up, or how did it work?
No, he picked me up. He dropped me off.
Okay. So he picked you up in the morning,
Yep.
dropped you off at 5:30.
Yep.
So you were with him the whole day.
Yes.
I'm trying to put pieces together because we want to talk to Robert so that we can get his story too. You know.
I'd rather not involve somebody that doesn't need to be involved.
You realize we're talking about possibly dead people here, right?
What stood out was Robert Sr.'s behavior. He seemed to be deliberately steering attention away from Robert Jr. That alone raised suspicions and made investigators even more eager to speak with him directly. The following day, autopsy results were returned, and the victims were officially identified by family as Danielle Marza and Seren Brian. The medical examiner determined the cause of death for both victims to be asphyxiation and blunt force trauma, a level of violence that was excessive and deeply unsettling. Seren's mother, Danielle Marza, recalled that she hadn't heard her son was missing. While at work on Monday, she received a call from an unfamiliar number, which she didn't answer. After Googling it, she realized it belonged to a news reporter. When she returned the call, the reporter asked if she was Danielle Marza, then proceeded with a few questions before deciding it was a case of mistaken identity. Later, the reporter reached Seren's father and informed him something had happened. He called Diane back, and when she searched Seren and Danielle's names online, she was devastated to learn the truth. That's how she found out. Seren was a kind and thoughtful person, always sensitive to how others felt and wanting those around him to be comfortable and happy. He had a passion for drawing and often expressed himself through his sketch journals. Sometimes he shared his artwork, and through those pages, glimpses of his day and emotions would quietly unfold. His drawings became a way for him to process feelings and make sense of the world around him. Danielle was a truly beautiful soul, unique, creative, and drawn to the unconventional. She found beauty in the odd and overlooked, preferring spiders and bees over flowers and the typical things most would admire. In her photos, she often stood with her head held high, arms open wide, as if embracing the world around her. She had a rare gift for seeing the good in places others might never look. Her unwavering optimism was one of her most defining and remarkable traits. With the victims identified, investigators turned their focus to finding the killer. They returned to the Marza home in search of clues. Inside the shed, there were no signs of blood spatter, an important detail that suggested the murders likely didn't happen there. The shed appeared to be a place where the bodies were hidden, not where the crime occurred. Investigators then moved inside the house, starting with Danielle's room. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary bedroom. Nothing seemed out of place. But using a chemical called Blue Star, which reacts to traces of blood, they uncovered the truth. Someone had gone to great lengths to clean the scene and stage the room, making it appear as though nothing had happened there. Investigators continued their search, turning their attention to Robert Jr.'s room. Inside his closet, they discovered several blood-stained items. Among the evidence were black duct tape with blood and hair, blood-soaked sheets, towels, and various materials that appeared to have been used in an attempt to clean up a crime scene. The findings raised immediate and serious concern. With a growing amount of evidence pointing to Robert Jr., investigators now faced a new challenge. A full-scale manhunt was underway to locate and apprehend him. If Robert Jr. was on the run, he could already be far from the area. Investigators soon discovered that the family van was missing and no one seemed to know where it had gone. This raised the possibility that Robert Jr. had fled using that vehicle. With that realization, the urgency intensified and the search efforts escalated quickly. Investigators obtained a search warrant for Robert Jr.'s cell phone records. They focused on August 23rd, the last day Danielle and Seren were seen by their co-workers. That same afternoon, the records showed Robert Jr. had contacted a local cab company. Investigators quickly followed up with the company to confirm whether a ride had been given, hoping it would lead to his whereabouts. Detectives identified the cab driver and brought him in for questioning, hoping to piece together Robert Jr.'s movements.
I spoke to your operator. I asked her about the 23rd. You recall going to pick up somebody at that at a trailer last Thursday?
Okay, I think I kind of do remember now.
Can you tell me anything about that pickup on who it was or anything you recall?
Oh, I can't really remember. Dropped him off at Wendy's. Or I asked him to give a specific spot he wanted to be dropped off, and he said first, I think, at Walgreens and then at Wendy's. And I pulled right in, and very first parking spot, he got out and paid me, and that's all I know.
They headed to a nearby Wendy's to collect surveillance footage from the morning of the murders. On multiple cameras, Robert Jr. was clearly visible. What stood out most was his calm demeanor. He didn't appear panicked or out of place. There was no visible blood on his clothing. He looked like any ordinary customer. The footage then showed him walking to a nearby bus stop and boarding a bus, confirming he was on the move. Investigators secured surveillance footage from inside the bus, capturing Robert Jr. riding all the way to the end of the line. It raised critical questions. Where was he heading? Was he planning to meet someone? The mystery surrounding his next move deepened. During the initial interview, Robert Sr. claimed that on the morning of the 23rd, Robert Jr. had been with him, riding together in a white van to a job across town. But surveillance footage told a different story. Robert Jr. had taken a cab and boarded a bus, clearly not with his father. That alibi quickly unraveled. Investigators later learned Robert Jr. was actually en route to meet his father at a construction site about 45 minutes away. With this new information, it became clear if he was fleeing, he was likely doing it in that van. Clinton Township Police located the van's previous owner and informed them that the vehicle could be connected to a double homicide. The previous owner had taken several photos of the van before selling it. Using those images, investigators created a crime bulletin and distributed it to law enforcement agencies and media outlets to alert the public. Meanwhile, family and friends gathered to honor the lives of Danielle and Seren. Danielle's brother, Kevin Marza, organized a memorial service after her cremation as a chance for loved ones to pay their respects. From what was shared during the service, it reflected what Danielle would have truly wanted: Seren's mother, Danielle Marza, shared that 2 memorials were held in his honor. Danielle's family and many friends attended, which deeply touched her. His school also organized a separate tribute. At both memorials, a classmate brought a blank canvas and enamel paints, inviting people to leave their fingerprints or thumbprints, a heartfelt gesture. That canvas now rests with Diane, a meaningful tribute that felt just right for Seren. The next day, investigators receive a call from Officer Anthony Duncan in Toledo, Ohio. He shares that there's talk on the street Robert Jr. might be in the area. Officer Duncan discovers that Robert Jr.'s van had been spotted in the parking lot of a local grocery store. However, by the time investigators arrived, Robert Jr. was gone. It remained unclear whether he planned to return or had simply abandoned the vehicle. Back in Clinton Township, Detective Anderson is contacted by Robert Jr.'s cousin, who claims to have recently spoken with Robert Sr. During their conversation, the cousin noticed several inconsistencies. According to him, things just weren't adding up, and he was trying to make sense of a story that didn't quite make sense. Detective Anderson was surprised that Robert Sr. appeared to be delaying the police response. It was difficult to comprehend that someone might intentionally withhold critical information during such a serious investigation. Detectives asked the cousin where he believes Robert Jr. may be hiding and are stunned by his response.
Any idea where he would go?
It's in the western part of Florida.
Is it Sarasota?
Nope. Pensacola. Yeah, I'm almost positive that's it.
So the conversation shifts the entire scope of the investigation. It's no longer just a matter of searching locally or even regionally. Now it becomes clear that Robert Jr. might be attempting to flee across the country. Toledo police canvassed nearby businesses in the area where Robert Jr.'s van was discovered, reviewing hours of surveillance footage. Eventually, a surprising detail emerges. Robert Jr. appears on camera wearing a blonde wig, sunglasses, and a tan baseball cap. The disguise was meant to help him blend in, but it had the opposite effect. He stood out. In the footage, he can be seen purchasing a cell phone, likely to make a call, but soon after he returns to the store, repackages the phone, and exchanges it for cash. Robert Jr. is later seen at a nearby gas station, attempting to buy food and drinks. He also tries to purchase cigarettes, but the cashier denies the sale when he fails to provide identification. Detectives begin to piece together Robert Jr.'s next likely move. Believing he has no one to turn to and is simply trying to escape, they consider his options. First, air travel seems unlikely. He has no identification, and security checks would catch that quickly. That leaves just 2 possibilities: the train or the bus station, both located in the same terminal. Investigators review the bus station's security camera footage from their ticket counter. Investigators discover that Mr. Marza had attempted to purchase a bus ticket under the alias Josh Bianca. The ticket revealed his planned route, departing at 11:55 p.m. on the 28th and arriving in Cincinnati at 3:45 a.m. on the 29th. With this critical information in hand, detectives now had a clear timeline and destination to track him down. At that point, investigators had a clear destination: Cincinnati. They reached out to the U.S. Marshals in that region to begin searching near the bus stop and surrounding areas. With their core mission of fugitive apprehension, the Marshals were the ideal partners. They work closely with local law enforcement and have the reach and authority to track suspects across state lines or even internationally if necessary. Robert Jr. had roughly a 6-hour head start, and investigators were certain he had made it to Cincinnati. That clue became their breadcrumb, guiding the next move. With urgency mounting, the team headed straight to the Greyhound station in Cincinnati, hoping to close the gap before he could disappear again. Once at the station, investigators spoke with a Greyhound employee who recalled a brief but memorable encounter. She said Robert Marza approached her and asked just 2 questions: where he could buy a cell phone and where the nearest library was. U.S. Marshals deployed several undercover agents to the Cincinnati Public Library. There, security cameras captured footage of Robert Jr., confirming he was inside. With each moment, investigators were closing in. Cincinnati is a fairly large city, and when investigators believed they had Robert Jr. cornered, there was no room for error. The last thing they wanted was to give him a chance to disappear again. Inside the lobby, investigators spoke with a security guard stationed just inside the doorway, facing the elevators. After identifying themselves, they showed the guard a photo of Robert Marza and explained they were actively searching the area. They warned the guard not to approach him if spotted, emphasizing how dangerous he could be. As one investigator turned their back to the elevators to pull up the image, they remained alert, knowing the suspect could appear at any moment. The elevator dinged, and as the doors slid open, the investigator heard the security guard say, "There's your guy right there." Turning around, they spotted Robert Jr. stepping out casually, same tan baseball cap, same long blonde wig, holding a cup of coffee, completely unaware he was about to be caught. His face registered shock the moment he realized what was happening, almost like a scene out of a dramatic TV show. Without hesitation, the team moved in, quickly taking him into custody and clearing the scene before he had a chance to react. U.S. Marshals moved swiftly, arresting Robert Jr. in the lobby of the library without incident. He was immediately escorted out of the building and taken into custody, bringing an intense manhunt to a calm but decisive close. Robert Jr. was transported to the Clinton Township Police Department, where detectives began their interview. In an effort to find closure for the grieving families, the lead investigator attempted to connect with him on a human level, appealing to whatever good-natured side he might still possess. Detectives hoped that during the interview, Robert Jr. might offer some kind of explanation and some insight into why the murders occurred, but he remained silent on any reasoning. Then unexpectedly, Robert Jr. requested to call his brother. Privately, the lead investigator held on to the hope that this call might lead to a confession or at least a glimpse into his motive.
I've got Robert here with me.
Okay, all right. I'll talk to you in a few, Kevin. Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Hey.
So, are you gonna make this case go easier, bro?
I don't know.
What do you mean? We're not living there anymore, Rob. There's fucking blood everywhere. So, are you pleading guilty to everything?
No, I'm not.
Why?
I can't really talk about it on the phone, but...
Robert Jr. just told him he's going to plead not guilty, and...
At that point, it was frustrating the chance for a key confession was gone, and the truth stayed out of reach. Despite the lack of a confession, detectives moved forward with the arrest of Robert Jr., charging him with the murders of his sister Danielle and her boyfriend Seren. Investigators believe Seren and Danielle returned home around 8 in the morning after working all night and went straight to bed. That same morning, Robert Sr. got up and left for a painting job, expecting Robert Jr. to join him, but he was nowhere to be found. It's believed Robert Jr. returned to the house after his father left, and sometime after, something horrific unfolded in Seren and Danielle's bedroom. Whether the couple was awake or asleep remains unclear, but investigators suspect they were struck in the head and knocked unconscious almost immediately. From there, Robert Jr. is believed to have bound them with tape, placed them in bags, and dragged their bodies out to the shed. This case remains one of the most unforgettable in the investigator's career, marked by its deeply disturbing and shocking nature. On November 23, 2019, after a 6-day trial, it took the jury only 40 minutes to find Robert Marza Jr. guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. While justice was served, it didn't ease the pain for the families and loved ones left behind. It's a bittersweet resolution of success in the job, but sorrow for the lives that can never be brought back. Danielle's brother, Kevin Marza, says he doesn't hate Robert Jr., but he doesn't forgive him either. To him, Robert is no longer his brother, just a stranger who murdered his sister and her boyfriend. Now Kevin focuses on his own family, looking forward to being a father and building a better future. Danielle Brian chooses to honor her son Seren by creating Seren's Shining Arts, a program that gives kids sketchbooks to help them express their feelings through art. It's her way of keeping his creative spirit alive and making a positive difference in his memory. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime content. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.